It's recording now.
Oh, yeah.
So the first question actually of interview is extent of your experience with virtual construction or yeah.
Okay, so my background is architecture mostly. So I spent 8-9 years in architectural drafting, starting in AutoCAD and into Revit for about 6 or 7 years, modelling in Revit. Then I moved a year ago to here, to South Australia. Took a job at another architectural firm where I worked on various health projects, the Women's and Children's Hospital, where they did laser scanning and modelling from that. In terms of working on the builder side, this is my first big project here. So being involved in a team where all the contractors are modelling in 3D, putting it all together, getting it coordinated, and then the builder working on that. Yeah.
So actually you merge the product of all the contractors in the project.
That's right, yeah. So you have a design model, LOD 200 level say, and then the contractors, the actual guys who are going to build it, they work on the LOD 300 side, and we work to get that coordinated so that, you know, duct isn't clashing with pipes and that kind of thing.
You work with people in different sites. I think you don't work face to face.
They are all at different sites, but most of them have a representation in the design office.
In your office?
So there might be 100 people in this one room, a couple from each company. But then they might have a team of modellers back at their office working on the actual modelling.
So why they need a representative?
It makes it easier when you're trying to figure something out. You've got a problem, a clash or something, you call that person over and say, is this really a problem? And they say, no, don't worry about that. Or yes, I need to go and tell the guys to fix it. So instead of having kind of a disconnect where you have to call someone or email someone, they just walk over, look at your screen, and then it works that way.
And you always used to work like that, or have you had any experience with a completely virtual team, pure virtual team, without having any face-to-face meeting?
Not really. This company I'm working for, we are experimenting still with some of those tools. In Australia, there isn't many of those happening, a fully virtual team in Australia. So we're still working on getting cloud services together that will allow that to happen in an intelligent way. Because at the moment, even still where you use a cloud service, it's still like an upload, download thing. You're not always live to a model. And that's the biggest.
This is because of the problem with the internet or something?
Yes and no. It's more that there's no technology to. You're modelling in Revit. There's no technology to keep a live building context around you. You have to always link in something or download something and link it in. So it's not as good as it could be. I think it should be a live cloud model that's continuously streaming into where you're working.
Cloud computing, you call it?
Yeah. So I think that will come in the next couple of years, but there's no standard solution yet for it.
So you're not live?
No, not really. Not truly.
Okay. Actually, the project I'm working is defining the effects of virtuality in teams. When you are purely face-to-face, work with people in an office, with people around you, and then you work purely virtual. So there is a degree between these two extremes. purely face-to-face and purely virtual. And if we increase this degree, everything will change. The management of the team, the leadership, the social interaction between people, and those kinds of stuff will change. I'm investigating this degree. That what factors contribute to that degree, and what are the effects of that degree on management of the team. For example, one of the factors which contribute to this virtuality degree is the distance. Some people believe that distance is a huge contributor. Some say that if you are not face-to-face with someone, it doesn't make a difference if you are working from the next building or from another continent. Do you have any idea about this?
Provided the internet speed is fine, I don't think the geographical thing has a huge impact. I think some of the big impacts are organisational structures or decisions and making people accountable for tasks. I think that's the hardest thing, because in the project we're working on, you discover a problem and the person sitting who discovers it doesn't necessarily know who needs to solve it. There might be 2 or 3 different companies or people involved. And so you'll pass that up the chain, and the next person up the chain might say, okay, well, this person is accountable, but that doesn't always get tracked and handled. So sometimes a week later, it'll come back, this problem's not fixed. Why? Oh, because the communication got lost at one point up that chain or across, and someone thought, oh, I don't actually need to do anything. And so nothing got handled.
He didn't give any feedback on that.
Yeah, you didn't get the message didn't get to the right person.
Okay. This is what we call affiliation to different organizations. Maybe that will be an issue. What about cultural backgrounds or native speakers and non-native speakers?
We have a very multicultural office up here. Lots of people from overseas working together. It doesn't seem to have a huge impact, provided their comprehension of English is reasonable. Doesn't seem to be a problem. They have different levels of project experience, but it's not necessarily related to their cultural background.
Okay. And about the technology, you mentioned some of the issues. Do you have access to different technologies when you work?
I do, yeah.
And is it an issue for you? Different level of technology or different level of structure?
Not for me personally, because I'm not part of a bigger organisation anymore, and so I've got the latest computing hardware, fast internet, so there's no limitation. In the previous organisation I was with, the technology was a big challenge, because there's multiple offices around Australia. You want something, new hardware, you request it up to a board level, it gets knocked back, so you're not getting the latest hardware, and some of those things are very challenging. For me, I found it frustrating.
I get it. It used to be an issue for you.
That's right.
And what about the number of people or sites? Do you think it's a factor when the number increases with dealing with a lot of people?
I think the number of stakeholder companies is a complicating factor. So if there's 2 or 3 companies working together, very easy to sit down in a room and sort something out. When there's 15 or 20 different disciplines working in one area, that's complicated, because you can't put them all in a room for a meeting. And so I think that's the complicating issue. And on healthcare, there's lots of people working in one space or modelling in one area.
Different discipline is a problem, yeah?
Yeah, that's right.
Good. You need to add something to this list, the contributors to problem of virtuality.
issue at the moment that we struggle with is getting different programs to talk to one another. Someone's modelling in Revit, someone is in Tekla is a good example.
Yeah.
Tekla is a steel tail.
Tekla structure, yeah.
Yep. So at the moment they issue in IFC, and so the way this project is structured, that needs to get into Revit and Navisworks, that IFC file. So at Virtual Build we've actually taken a contract to do some of that conversion. But it's not a perfect thing. You import it into Revit, the file size gets very big. The geometry is pretty good, the data is a bit so-so.
So you have a role as a subcontractor to make software, different packages work together, yeah?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a huge issue.
Yeah.
That possibly increases the costs of the project, yeah?
Yeah, definitely, that's right. Whereas if, hypothetically, if the steel detailer was working in Revit, that would never have become an issue. And because the Tekla package is easier, or it's quicker for them to model in, that's why they use it.
Yeah. I think you put something about manufacturers on LinkedIn, yeah?
Oh yeah? Yeah.
That was interesting. The details of manufacturers.
Yeah, this transition into fabrication models and how to move that forward and backward in the design process. Because the sooner you get to a fabrication model that you're working with, it's more realistic as to what's going to be built on site. But the packages that are used for fabrication, the CAD packages, are not really geared towards the BIM environment yet. Some are, some aren't. Yeah. That's a challenge.
I think that those kind of challenges will be resolved pretty soon. Yeah.
I agree. They have to be.
We don't face the challenge of technology anymore. I think that we face other areas of like change management or resistance of people.
Definitely. Yeah. A lot of the change management and resistance is being solved by builders saying, if you want to work on this job, you must do BIM and you must comply with the building execution plan, otherwise you don't work on the job.
Client asks the builder?
Sometimes, but the motivating force on some projects is the builder, because they know if they have a clash-free model, their construction will happen easier.
Oh, that's good.
Less problems on site. Sometimes the client doesn't know what to do with the model, or doesn't request it. Healthcare they usually do, because they know they're going to have to keep monitoring equipment, and so the deliverable for them is important.
So you know Chris Penn?
Yep.
Yeah. He delivered some lectures for us, for undergraduate students about UK projects on BIM and
Okay, cool. Yeah.
He's involved in some stuff at the university.
Oh, great. Yeah, he's got a lot of experience.
Yeah. Adelaide Hospital.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, that's good.
Having your lunch. And effects of that kind of virtual working with members without face-to-face meeting or not located in a building. Quality of communications. I think you mentioned a bit about the communication is lost in some aspects. Do you want to add something to this, which negatively affects the quality of communication? Do you believe that?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And it is a technology issue at the moment, because there's no tool to make a team work together nicely with accountability. There's a tool called Aconex. Do you know about that? Aconex?
Aconex. I think I have heard of it. Yeah.
So it's a project kind of collaboration tool where you can send messages, upload documents, big documents, models. But what can happen is you send someone something that requires an action, they don't do it, and it becomes you didn't do this, but I can't do it because this person didn't do it, something that I'm relying on, and it just becomes a pointing game.
Is there any way to follow up the case with someone?
There
Push
is,
him or
there is, but it doesn't solve the problem of the one person pointing the finger to the next person. And sometimes it's valid, but it doesn't actually lead to a resolution, pointing the finger. It just leads to, an argument.
conflict?
Yeah. But everyone, I heard we went to a breakfast last week about BIM take-up, and he said we're all mercenaries. So everyone's there fighting for their own little rights, and
Mercenaries of the organization you belong to, yeah?
so it's not a good. That's not good for team working. You need to kind of put aside some of things that you used to hold important, intellectual property, or you must. Your contract rights, you need to put some of those aside so you can just get the job done.
Yeah, this is, we call it in the teamwork, the identity of the team. The problem with the virtual teams is that they don't think they belong to that team.
Yeah.
They have other affiliations which overshadow their identity with the main virtual team.
Yeah, that's a good point. And the only thing forcing them at the moment is usually signing an execution plan that says you must be part of this team. But that doesn't necessarily change their affiliation.
The way they think, yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. So you have the problem with accountability of person.
Yeah.
What about the social interaction? Do you think is it necessary at all for team working?
Personally, I don't. I don't know whether I'm an aberration. I just view my work and social as very separate. I have a family at home. That's where I want to be.
Yeah.
So that's it. Maybe I'm different to a young man who wants to mingle. Don't know.
So you don't believe in that actually?
Not necessarily.
And the coordination and predictability of work with other members. Can you predict what the other member of the team is going to send you or ask you to do?
Usually, but usually that's it's learnt by the time you've spent on the project already. So this person didn't send me something on time, they won't send it again on time, or the quality wasn't quite right.
It's a routine actually that you learn.
Yeah, it's more, and it's not across the whole team, it's individuals. Some individuals will have good results, and some just either because they don't know the technology or they don't view the priority as the same as someone else.
So aren't they binded by the contract they actually accepted, or the execution plan, and they mentioned to keep the timeliness of something, sending or receiving something? Or?
They are, but some of them have been enough more than they can chew, and so they just simply can't. They simply don't have the answer. They have a job this big,
ability,
and they have only 2 staff or 3 staff, and so they're trying to hire and build their own team at the same time contribute to this team. That's just it happens when BIM starts to take off. Everyone's trying to hire the skilled people, and so that becomes a challenge.
It has become a buzzword.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to. I supervise 7 undergraduate students, and 6 of them are working on BIM.
Okay.
So I have a problem to divide them. You work on this, you work on that. Because they are similar. Subjects has become similar.
Right. Yep.
Every student at the uni wants to work on BIM.
Okay, but they need to find something that differentiates.
Yes. Not ever done before or not similar to other students. I think that's become a problem.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And about the trust between the team members, do you think it's a matter of importance for construction team members
Definitely. And I think when you build a relationship of trust, that means you want to work with that person again, even if it's not on this project, it's future projects. Very important, I think.
And does this kind of teamwork affect the trust? Lowers the level of trust between, or increases? What do you think about it?
I think you start, maybe if you don't know someone, it starts with lower level of trust. So if you've never worked with them and they come into the team, you might view them a bit warily. And then if they build that trust, then it's
so when you
fine.
don't see somebody, never, does it affect your trust, or you don't believe in that?
No, not necessarily, because to me the name on an email or on something online is meeting the person. These days you don't have to see them to build the trust.
Not necessary. Okay, I think you should leave.
Oh no, don't stress. You gotta go. That's all right.
We have a list of necessities of good communication between team members. Not necessarily virtual team members, any member of the team in construction. Accuracy, completeness, timeliness, reliability, bidirectionality means the receiving the feedback on time, or understandability, frequency, consistency, and security. What do you think about this list? Do you think we should remove some of these, or we should add something? Or do you want to expound on some of the items here?
Accuracy could have various meanings, but usually in a BIM or CAD environment, the accuracy is taken care of by the software if the person knows how to use it. So that's a skills. To me, looking at it, it's a skills question more than the accuracy of the numbers.
Competency of the person.
So all these other things I think are important. Understandability, what does that mean again?
You understand the communication. You don't misunderstand the communication. When somebody asks something and you think that he asked something else, and something like
yes, yep. And so often that is project experience related, because if you have more project experience, you speak a certain language. Someone who's just starting out in the working environment, they doesn't understand all of these other concepts.
This is related with the experience of the person,
And certainly all of these others are very important in terms of modelling and keeping a good system in place.
And frequency? Do you think that virtual working reduces the frequency of necessary communications, or increases the overload of the information?
I think it increases it, but perhaps it shouldn't. And I think it's because we haven't transitioned yet to that fully virtual environment. There's still an iterative work mindset to people. So at the end of the week I'll upload my model, and so you're building in these little milestones, which in reality they are all just one, get the building built and coordinated. So all these little milestones increase the frequency, I think, possibly even more so than the pre-virtual days. But I think that we will all just become one conversation from beginning to end eventually.
Okay, thank you. As a last question, how do you predict the future of virtual construction and BIM in Australia?
I think it still faces some big challenges from pre-existing workflows. People who've been doing something a certain way for 20, 30 years, they're not quick to take up the new way. And so I think what I said before about there needs to be one party who can push it and make it happen. And to me, what I'm seeing here and in other parts of Australia is the head contractor or the builder is the one that's pushing it at the moment. Because a lot of project types, the clients don't even see the necessity to work that way.
Maybe they don't have the knowledge, yeah?
Yeah, in some cases, but in other cases, say high-rise residential building, there's not always a need for a model to the client at the end of the day. You know, they just have a fit out, you know.
In terms of the facility management.
Yeah, there's not a huge, you know, there's a couple of lifts or something, but in a very complicated building like health, they often, you know, the clients see the need. But the builder will always see the necessity, right down to residential, probably not. And so I think the residential scale won't change quickly. I don't think people will work virtually there for a long time. Because the existing way works for the scale of the project.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
That was very good.
Yeah.
You gave me